All right, welcome back. It's still Plus Politics. The Kaduna State government says no fewer than 1,192 persons were killed, while 3,348 people were kidnapped by bandits in the state in 2021. The governor, Governor El-Rufai, after receiving the report, asked the federal government to create another theater command similar to the one in the northeast to tackle the insecurity in the northwest and Niger state. The governor also maintained that bandits or terrorists do not deserve mercy and therefore must be killed. He said the military and the police are needed to be provided with modern equipment by the federal government. Joining us this time around is public affairs analyst Paul Kato and security expert Dickson Osajie. Many thanks, gentlemen, for joining us on this particular discourse this time around. Let me start with you, Dickson. Well, the governor came out loud and yesterday when he made his position known concerning what is happening in his state, he is lamenting that no legitimate government can survive by tolerating terrorists or negotiating with those who constitute menace to law-abiding citizens. He is actually against what he called repentant bandit. Dickson, you are a security analyst. You have been in the military. You understand the terrain. Let's talk about repentant bandits. Do you really think it will help the country when it comes to sorting out itself from this issue that has plagued us over time?
Justin, thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's quite regrettable what is happening in our dear country, Nigeria, and I think it's a failure on leadership. It's also a failure on political strategy, security, economic strategy, and operational strategy. The governor of Kaduna State, they just released the the report on the death of Nigerians in Kaduna State, and the report is not friendly.
No, it's
not good enough for us to, accommodate. Because having 1,192 Nigerians being killed and about 3,348 being killed in our own country, in our own states, Justin, with all honesty, it is highly, highly unacceptable. Well, for me, I think we need to start looking at developing an holistic strategy. Because from terrorism studies, if over 999 persons are killed in action or died in the hands of criminal or terrorist elements, it is a war situation. So for me, I think the Kaduna State government should declare a full-blown war against these terrorists. Let me shock you, Justin. Kaduna State harbors the highest institution of the Nigerian state. We have the Nigerian Defense Academy in Kaduna State. We have the Nigerian Army Training Institution, that's the Depot Nigerian Army Training Institution in Zaria, Kaduna State. So we cannot have a state that harbors a lot of training institutions and we are not able to curtail with the spirit of insecurity there in Kaduna State. I sympathize with those who died in the hands of this unnecessary human being and their families. It's really a worrisome situation, Justin, trust me. But for me, in the next question, I think we'll be looking at the mitigation factors or what the country needs to do to mitigate this menace.
All right, before we talk about mitigation, I'll just ask that you hold that thought. Let's bring in a resident in Kaduna State who is also a public affairs analyst. That's Paul Kato. Paul, thank you for joining us this time around. Good evening to you. All right, I'll still try and reconnect with Paul. I can barely make out what he said. I'll go back to you now, Dickson Osajie. The governor specifically talked about... Dickson, are you still on the line?
Yes, I'm here, Justin.
All right, fine. The governor talked about creation of a theater command that will enable a holistic approach. I'm just quoting him, verbatim. He said, the creation of such a theater command will enable a holistic approach to counter insurgents across the 6 affected states and enhanced coordination of the resources of the armed forces, the police, the SSS. He went on to state our respective state vigilance services, hunters, and other local volunteers to fight the insurgents are needed. Looking at all that he has said, what do you really make about this creation of a theater of command security-wise? Do you really think it will go far in stemming this issue in the bud?
Not at all, Justin. It should not mitigate the series of insecurity in the Kaduna State and other states close. Kaduna State is the second least secure state in Nigeria, Justin. And I must tell you for free, the governor's approach is not going to mitigate security because when we talk about counter-insurgency,
we are looking at the issue of insecurity, specifically the report that was just released by the Kaduna State governor indicating the alarming number of people that was killed or were killed in 2021. We have Paul Kato this time around. He is a public affairs analyst. Thanks for joining us, Paul.
Thank you very much for having me on your program, and good evening.
All right, let me just start by asking first, what's the mood in Kaduna State right now as we speak?
Well, generally the mood in Kaduna State right now as we speak, people are not happy with the current situation on ground. Every day we wake up with the fear of not coming back home. It's either you're kidnapped on the road, on the farm, or even while in your own house. So I must say with all sincerity, Kaduna is not a safe state at all. I tell those who care to listen to me that Maiduguri, which is the capital of Borno, is safer than the whole Kaduna put together.
Well, that's really alarming. The governor released the report yesterday, and he said 1,192 persons were killed by bandits. He also went on to say that 3,348 were kidnapped, 891 injured in 2021. That's according to a report. It could actually be more. Over time, he's talked about a holistic approach. How would you really rate, security operatives in Kaduna State? Right now, the governor is calling for better approach. He wants a coordinated attempt with local vigilantes and hunters. So far, how have they done in the state?
Well, the report has indicted them, has indicted the government itself, because if they have done so well, we wouldn't be having these numbers of people, almost over 1,000 people killed and almost over 3,000 people kidnapped. The fact here is, I think the approach the government is taking, it's not, from my point of view, it's not holistic, because sincerely speaking, Kaduna already is it's a war theater. Just as your guest said, Dickson himself, Kaduna is the home of almost all the military institutions you can think of in Nigeria. And something's fundamentally wrong that you have the Defense Academy, you have the Air Force, you have the School of Artillery, both in Kachia, that's for the Navy and the Army. Then you have the first div and the third div, and Kaduna is still, being harassed every day by ragtag bandits. Something is fundamentally wrong somewhere, And I do not know really what is happening, but I think something is wrong, and the government is not actually telling the citizens of Kaduna what's actually wrong, because with all they've spent in terms of security fundings and all that, intelligence gathering, I think we are supposed to have passed this stage already, where you have people being killed as if they are animals. This is not just, I'm tired of people saying, I'm tired of the statistics, 1,192 and more, because this is their own statistics, because we have other statistics also on ground to prove to you that
all right, Paul.
over 2,000...
All right, Paul, so would you really say that the state government is actually overwhelmed when it comes to securing the lives and property of people residing in the state? You think right now there is an urgent need for maybe national intervention?
I wouldn't say the state is overwhelmed. I would say the state is not doing the needful, with all that you have on ground in terms of military institutions. What is actually stopping the state from implementing, basic security measures to cover what we're facing right now in Kaduna? I tell you for something. I'll say this. Kaduna has a very high number of retired military and policemen. What stops the government from calling up retired military men, cut across the 23 local governments in Kaduna State and the 255 wards in Kaduna State? These are retired people who have served the nation before, and I don't think if the government calls them up to service again, I don't think they will say no. What is there is for government to actually curb this issue, it has to look at it from a bottom-top approach, not a top-bottom approach. Because as they say, politics is local, so also violence is local. So you have to carry along people from the rural communities that are being attacked every day. The state government, some 2 years back, 2 years ago, said they spend money on buying drones. We've not seen the effect of the drones, really. If I told you bought drones, whatever attacks are about to happen, or whatever people are about to be kidnapped, it's expected that these drones will be roving around Kaduna City and its environs. So I just feel and I believe that the government approach towards the Kaduna State government approach toward curbing this issue or stopping this violence is not just working. They need to rethink the approach, get retired military men, policemen, DSS men from Kaduna State, spread across the 23 local government, who can come in and give in their advice and work hand in hand with those who are still in service. I tell you, give them 6 months to get the result. Less than 6 months, we'll get the result.
All right, then. Thank you, Paul. Let's talk to Dickson once again. Dickson, are you still there?
I am alive here.
Of course you are. I just want to get your quick and candid opinion concerning the governor's position on bandits or terrorists, as it were. He wants them to be killed. Is that the way forward?
Well, it's not the way forward, but that is necessary evil. Because I just listened to the last speaker. He made a fantastic point. But let me disabuse his mind. Not any retired soldier or retired police or ex-service personnel will be happy to go back to serve his nation or to defend his nation. While they were in service, what did the government do for them? After leaving the service, I can tell you that they are still being held their basic allowance, their department allowance. You could see the retired armed forces of Nigeria some few weeks ago did protested against the government that give us our dues. Why are you not giving us our dues? So are you telling me someone that is not being paid his dues will be happy to be called back? Personally, myself, I will not be happy to be called back. I better leave the country than to be called back because a country that is that cater for its retired veterans, that take good care of its veterans, definitely those veterans will be so happy and delighted to be called back. So what are you doing to the veterans? What is the benefit for the veterans? You think you can just call them back in time of danger? No way. Now, going back to your question, Justin, the approach from the Kaduna State government, is what we classified as operational strategy. There are various strategies you can adopt in containing with the spirit of insecurity. The last speaker rightly talked about people being killed in the rural areas. Now, we have the political strategy. We need to start looking at the political strategy. Counterinsurgency, Justin, is not a military might. Military might will never eliminate terrorism. Counterinsurgency is a two-way coin, enemy-centric and population-centric. Enemy-centric in the sense that it has to do with the military, the police, and the security agents. Population-centric has to do with the civilian populace. That is where the political strategy comes to play. That is where the administrative strategy comes to play. That is where the economic strategy comes to play. We have a lot of people that are not well taken care of by the government. If an offer comes from the terrorist or from the bandit, a lot of Nigerians will fly at the offer. And that is why we need to start looking at resolving all the grievances between political parties. Political strategy is very, very important at this stage. We don't think that they give the military order, let them go and kill. No. Killing of terrorists will never eliminate terrorism. You don't measure success by killing of terrorists. You measure success by the state of peace. How do you arrive at the state of peace? For you to arrive at the state of peace, you need to bring in all the components together, counter-insurgency components.
All right, thank
Okay,
you.
I'm here.
Thank you so much, Dickson. We are actually out of time. We must say a very big thank you, for all of your contribution, and of course, Paul Cattles. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for all that you have said today. We just pray that these killings and these kidnappings in Kaduna State and indeed other parts of the country, would be actually brought to 0 point, because we can't continue like that as a country. Thank you once again, gentlemen. All right, well, that's the size of the show for today. I am Justin at Kaduna Plus. Politics returns tomorrow. Bye for now.